Okay, so today I just wanted to take a quick look at two short films. Both of them, to my knowledge, were written, directed, and produced by a Mr. John Shelton, who is also a fellow YouTuber. His channel is Mr. Shelton TV, and I will link his short films in the description box for those of you who would like to check those out. Um, but this is basically, I guess, a film trilogy that he's working on. The first film which he had done, which was Avant-Macabre, which was definitely a very interesting movie. I watched the silent version first, which honestly I prefer the silent version, just because I'm left to go into my thoughts, and you know, just the music and the imagery, it definitely leaves everything open to interpretation. But the story basically is, I guess one evening there's a dark figure that sneaks into a man's home. We never really find out why, but obviously this figure does not have kind intentions, which we do find out at the end of the film what he originally intended to do there. But the spoken version of the film, we have the same imagery, but we actually have a poem which is read over the imagery. The poetry itself is definitely beautiful, and it carries the film along as well. It's just with the poem itself, I spent more time actually listening to and analyzing the poems than I actually did paying attention to the imagery or paying attention to the story. So that's the only reason I say I preferred the silent version, just because I wasn't trying to analyze something else. But that's just my nature. I like poetry and artsy things, and I tend to analyze things. So that was just me battling myself there as I was trying to watch the film. But both versions are definitely very good. And then, of course, we currently have the sequel, which is called Macabre. And in this version, we have a young man who has lost his grandmother, and he I guess one evening decides to communicate with her via Ouija board. And once again, maybe not the best decision. We kind of have a bit of a gruesome outcome here as well. But we also have, this one is told, I want to say, in more of a silent film type style. We go through the imagery. We never actually see the man in the film speak, but we have little title cards or place cards which pop up on screen every now and again, and we have someone else reading or going through the poem via those place cards. So it kind of feels kind of like a talky silent film hybrid, but it works. It doesn't hurt the film at all. Once again, the poetry really does carry the story. It narrates, and you know, it actually does move the story along. So it's important to the story in this situation. But definitely very, very unique storytelling style here. You know, I would say, you know, they definitely do hold your interest, and I like the idea of mixing poetry in a short film to carry the narrative of the film in both of these situations, because to my knowledge, I've never seen that in a film like full-length feature or even in a short film. So I definitely found that very unique and interesting, and it definitely does add to the artistic feel. But to my knowledge, right now at this moment, there is no word on the third installment or when we should expect to see that, but I'm assuming it may or may not follow this poetry narrative format, which Mr. Shelton has introduced to us. But definitely very interesting and unique stories. They definitely held my interest throughout the entire short. The first one, I believe, was roughly about 6 minutes long, and the second was maybe just a little over 4 minutes, if I'm remembering correctly. But as I stated, I will go ahead and link those in the description box for you guys, and I will talk to you later.